Nancy, just announce me when to start, okay?
Yes, Elizabeth, 1 minute. Yes, the session has been started live streaming on YouTube and we are ready to go. Yes.
A very pleasant evening to one and all present here. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. With this quote in this warm evening to refresh and create an impact onto the mind, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Savita Engineering College brings to you a webinar on Building Your Career and Our Nation, My Lessons from Sweden by Mr. B.V. Sudhir Kumar, Chief Executive Officer, Siri AB, Information Technology and Services, Sweden. A glimpse about our college and department. Savita Engineering College, established in the year 2001, an autonomous institution which follows the Finland-based education model, and we march towards less is more concept. Our college makes the students job ready by providing Industry 4.0 ready curriculum which imparts the 21st century skills. Project-based learning integrated with subjects improves the student's skill set and makes our learners to be the best, which is the motto of our college. The Department of ECE was established in the year 2001. Our vision is to develop this department into a state of art with Center of Excellence in Electronics and Communication Engineering education on par with global standards. The Department of ECE has well-experienced faculty of proven ability and diverse specialization. The faculty actively involves themselves in research in the field of robotics, VLSI, MEMS, image processing, and embedded systems. Now I would request Dr. Raji Pandurangan ma'am, Assistant Professor, EC Department, to introduce our guest of the day. Ma'am, please take over the session.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening, one and all. It's a great opportunity for me to move forward to introduce my friend B.V. Sudhir Kumar, CEO, Siri AB. He had an urge for grabbing all the opportunities that come on his way. Thus, he started his career with German electronic giant companies at Bangalore. He then wanted to explore his knowledge by working on various telecom technologies in India, Sweden, UK, and France. He is an anxious man to contribute himself in R&D of evolution of technologies like 5G and autonomous driving, thereby had a good analysis of market needs that drive towards research and development. He couldn't stop becoming renowned entrepreneur, thus became the founder and CEO of Siri AB, a Sweden-based firm branching at various locations like Stockholm, Gothenburg in Sweden, and Berlin in Germany, Hyderabad in India, which provides service to Europe and Indian research developments in the fields of telecom and automotive industries. I welcome a great philanthropist to share his opinion of difference in engineering at India versus Sweden. Welcome, Sudhir. Session is yours. You can continue.
Thank you, Raji and Elizabeth and Savita Engineering College for providing me this opportunity to share my learnings of Sweden. So, yeah, just how are you all? I hope you are doing good and healthy in this pandemic situation. So today I'm going to share my lessons learned from Sweden. Before getting into the lessons, are you able to see my slides?
So just share your screen, sir.
Can you see my slides now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just before getting into the subject of my lessons learned from Sweden, I'd like to brief about me. Thanks, Raji, for briefing about me. My name is Sudhir. As you all know, I'm heading Siri AB. I was born and brought up in a place called Nellore. I did my schooling up to plus two in Nellore. Then, with the vision of getting the job and so on, I started my engineering. So I choose the electronics and communication. The only reason why I have chosen the electronics and communication was to find some job where I'll be getting more opportunities. That's how I have chosen it. There was no other mathematics behind that one. I completed my engineering in Babatla Engineering College. Then, after the completion of the engineering, like yeah, all other engineers, I started searching the job. Then I started my career with the Siemens communication software. During that time, I had few more opportunities, but I have chosen Siemens because it is telecommunications, and I thought I will be using some knowledge what I gained from the engineering. That's how I started my career. Initially, I worked onto the handset side, and after 2 years, like COVID pandemic and all, there was a 9/11 attack, and that has impacted Siemens. After working 2 years, there was a reduction at the Siemens. So that has given the opportunity for me to look into new opportunity where I restarted with a company called Sasken Communications. During that time, I was working with the network side. So it has given a new opportunity. Every season like pandemic or any incident, it gives the new opportunities. That's what I believe in. Then I started with the Siemens Communication. I worked there for 5 years. So during this period, there was some financial crisis in my family, which was forced me to get out of India. So I was having a very good job life, and I got married. I had one lovely kid and so on. This was bit more about me, and I came from a uh, middle class family, from moderate family where my parents are living in Nellore. This is bit about me. Now, before getting into the what I have learned during this year, I'd like to brief bit about Siri AB and what was the reason behind starting the Siri AB. So, bit about Siri AB. When I started my journey outside in India, initially I worked few months in UK, Birmingham, for a Motorola client, and then I worked sometime in Nuremberg in Germany, Paris in France, and finally reached Sweden in 2007. When I went there, the initial thought was just to stay for the time where I fulfill my financial need. So the plan was just for 2 years. Now it is already 13 years I'm stuck there. You'll understand why I got stuck there in the next part of my presentation. So between 2007 and 11, I was working at different technical and managerial positions at Ericsson. Ericsson is one of the big telecom OEM based out of Sweden. After working for 4 years, then I started thinking as an engineer. My dad is a role model, and I had always one question. My dad is uneducated, but still he was giving five employments. And then I started thinking, as an engineer, I want to achieve something more. So, what is the best thing that we can do for the society? The best thing anybody can give it to the society is building a good society by providing employment. We believe providing the employment is the only way to build a very good nation. That's the thought pushed me to start from employment more to the entrepreneur. And before starting the Siri AB, the first thing anybody encounter is the name of the company. So the name we have chosen Siri because Sirisha is co-founder of Siri and she is my wife. We both studied in electronics and communication in Bapatla Engineering. That is not only the reason. There is one more reason why we have chosen the SIRI. It is the letters SIRI, Swedish Indian Resource Integration. We believe helping India and Sweden is also my responsibility. That's why we started with the name of SIRI. So e- when we started with Siri AB, the purpose was to help both India and Sweden. Why India and Sweden? India is my home country, and Sweden is like my second home country. Then we have chosen a business that helps both India and Sweden, and IT consulting was a low-hanging fruit at that point of time, because when you start any entrepreneurship journey, finance is one part where we thought by building IT consulting, we help both the countries. How we are helping Sweden? Sweden is very rich in research and development. Probably you might have used Skype or Bluetooth or the 3-point seat belt in the cars. All these products has been, probably Candy Crush is the one which you guys might know. So these are all the products that came from Sweden. But then the technology is evolving at a faster pace compared to few decades before. So if you take, I came from the technology telecom background, so I'm taking the telecom. If you see wireless communication between 2G to 3G, people were waited for 10 years. Between 3G to 4G, it was 6 or 7 years. Before 4G is stabilizing, people are talking about 5G. And also it is a global village. If one operator or one OEM can't provide it, people will choose others. For example, if you take Volvo cars, if they say, I'm giving a very good car, you need to wait for 3 years. Do we think the customers will wait in this era? No. They will go for Audi, BMW, or Tesla. So these two force Sweden to do the productization quicker to the market. That's when we thought India has a reach of talent. By connecting both the countries, there will be more benefit for the people who are coming from India to Sweden to learn and see the different view. And that is the main reason why when Savita Engineering College approached me, I thought, why can't I give this information and knowledge back to you guys? That's how I started. And if you ask Siri AB what we are doing, we are helping telecommunication and automotive in the R&D to make two things reality at a faster pace. One is making 5G and driverless car both into the reality. We have around 100 people working. Currently, Siri AB has 5 offices across the globe, 3 offices in Sweden, Malmo, Stockholm, and Gothenburg, one in Berlin, and one in Hyderabad, India. Maybe in a couple of years, we'll be having our office in Chennai also. Yeah. This is a bit about the Siri AP. So now, before getting into the my lessons to Sweden, I would like to mention why it is needed, why the change is needed, why do we need to learn from some other place. Yeah, every nation in the world has its own pros and cons, but there are the things. Because of my job, I keep traveling to India and Europe every alternate month. Then I started thinking, what was the situation of in India, and what is it required to be more self-sustaining in future. So that's where I'm talking about India 1.0. That is job oriented or sustenance mode. Survival mode is the one that I name it as India 1.0. If you see couple of decades before and so on and all, right, the need of any person in India is to get the job because it was survival. You know, until 1850s, right, India economy used to be 25% of the global economy. But after that, for whatever the reasons and all, the situation has come in a level where struggle for existence has started. So during that time, everyone's intention is to get some job and survive. That was the need of the hour at that point of time. So all the decades, even when we completed the engineering and all, the only motive why I joined engineering, not to do the great wonders, the only thing that behind my mind is to get a job. Such kind of a thing has forced all the India to get into the employment mode. That's what has given opportunities to put our foot into the services business also, because it was the need of the hour, and we were taking whatever the jobs that we were getting and so on and all. So this is about not only IT, with all the segments and industries. So that is about the India 1.0 until now. But now there is a need for a change to make India into self-sustaining. For example, if you take in terms of the agriculture or in terms of the natural resource, India is self-sustaining. But when it comes for the IT products or different other industries, still we have a lot of work needs to be done, and we need to shift the gears from job oriented to the innovation focus. Why it is needed and all, I'll be covering the next part of the sessions. So the whole the need is there to change the mindset from the short term benefits or existing survival mode to the long term thinking and product creation, innovation in all the areas, let it be products, let it be services. This mindset will give you long career for you. Not only that one, it lays a very good road for your next generations. And that's where I classify the slides into two parts. One is products and services. Because of India 1.0, the services was the low hanging fruit, where we have been doing some innovation and we have been doing the services business. But now, because of the technology, the rate at which is changing, and also with the artificial intelligence, machine learning, there are more and more human tasks, repetitive tasks are being replaced with the machines. Why we have been successful in the services, there are multiple reasons why we have been successful. One is we have a very good talent, but in addition to that one, we have a huge skill available. So huge number of people are available. That means a lot of workforce are working into the services business. So with the AI, machine learning, and all the technologies are evolving, the number of jobs in this segment will come down, is my analysis. My own experience, I was working at Ericsson Mobile uh, in Lund, Sweden. So we used to have a 5 testers who was doing the mobile testing. But today, if you see, because of the test automation and so on, there is only one tester available. In the services segment, because of this human and mission introduction, the jobs are decreasing. And the only way to keep more and more jobs is to create more innovation, even in the services. That we started the journey and all. What I learned, or what we need is, we need to do the innovation more and more into the products that not only give the path and jobs for you, but your next generations. So if there is a one good product, it gives the results for number of years, or maybe 30, 40 years and all. You take it any of the example like Nokia mobile, it came from a small country, but it is giving the runway for, it has given so long, couple of centuries and so on. So with the change of mindset and shifting the gears and all, what I ask you guys is to think on the long term and solving the problem. Solution solving is the mode that we need to get into. It need not be a big products or big thing. Even the small solutions has made a miracle, which I am going to share the next part of the presentation. So, uh, from moving from India 1.0 to 2.0, we need to concentrate both on products and services, and this can be achieved only with the help of you. There are multiple stakeholders which I will cover, but you guys are one of the key stakeholders who can make this vision reality. So the way that it is possible for the products to be successful, with my experience in working in the R&D for the last 2 decades, is by staying for the long term, looking for a long term benefits. Any products can be built if you have the people working for a long time, the product knowledge and the mood, the customer understanding, relations, all these things is possible if the people are working for a long time. Here I would like to touch one more point, that we may be facing into the service industries. For India, one of the service industries, one of the challenge is attrition. People are coming for, and because of whatever the needs in the past, even I had a financial need and so on, so people work for certain time, and because of the pay package or XYZ and all, people are moving the companies. That forces the companies to increase their services price. So this also has a counter impact on the whole job market. So if you see 20 years before or 30 years before and all, right, the services cost in India is much lower than Western world. That's where many of the works are coming, along with the technology or the skills what is available and all. But today, when we started, uh, I'm taking one step back. When we started in Siri AB, there were, let's say, 10 customers who was asking to execute work from Sweden. After 10 years, within 10 years, it came down to only one. The reason is because of this attrition and inflation rate increase and so on and all, right? The price has increased. Now, if you see the services, the India compared to Eastern Europe, Poland, and Russian parts, Ukraine, Vietnam, all these guys, we are at the same price range. Now, we cannot use the same mechanism. That's where you need to create a product and build more value by bringing the solutions. So that's why it is very important for you guys to stay long term and concentrate on learning the things. The only question or the suggestion I have is, you need to constantly ask what problem I solved, what knowledge I gained it. At least first 5-10 years you need to dedicate. If you see, later on I will be mentioning some names where you will be seeing the people who are successful also, who stayed for long term in all these companies. And before getting into some of the examples, I'm talking about the Sweden. I know most of you might have not heard about the country named Sweden. Maybe now because of Volvo trucks and all came. It's a pretty small country. It's the size of population of Sweden is almost same as Chennai, somewhere around 10-11 million population. And if you see uh, the geographical location also, those are the islands. So they have to depend on many other countries, even for the food or in terms of day-to-day life and so on. And they import everything. Even if you take their food stuff and so on, right, they import everything. Even then, they moved from a very poor background to now today Sweden is a very well developed country. But if you see some 60-70 years, it is very poor country. People couldn't afford to buy a fresh meat because they eat the meat. So fresh fish, that's why the food of Swedish traditional food is rotten fish. When we had a very much wealth and all, these guys were struggling. And they have built the advanced society just not by the fluke. They have done many things, which some things might be useful. My intention here is to giving the examples so that we need to take the good parts from there to India. India has a lot of good things also. But now, when we are talking about Sweden, right, what they have done, they decided to work with the long term vision of creating or solving the problems across the globe that will give the runway for the next generations and next generations and next generation. If you see Sweden today, it was because of a few decades before, whatever the work they have done, the results still they are enjoying today. So I would like to explain this with few of the small cases where you will understand what I am saying it. The first one, probably some of you might have read about IKEA. It is a furniture store based out of the Sweden. So what happened with this? Why is so important? IKEA, first it was started by Ingvar. So the founder of IKEA, he came from a small place, not even a 5,000 people living in that village. The A stands for Almult, is the place name in IKEA. So he was running a small furniture store in that place. And then on one Friday, there was a lady who was working in Stockholm but based out of Almult. So she came to her hometown, and then on the way she saw a furniture in IKEA and she liked it very much. But then she couldn't take it to Stockholm because it was not fitting into her car. See, the public transportation or transportation of the goods is very costly in the Europe because of the structure they have, the dignity of labor or labor rules and so on. So sending an article from one place to another place, it is a very costly affair at that point of time. So the lady told to Ingvar saying, yeah, I like the furniture, but I can't buy it. Then the question he asked is, ma'am, what happened? No, it is not fitting into my car. I can't take it back. Then he told, okay, ma'am, how long you will be in Almond? He told, she replied saying that 2 days. I came for a weekend. I'm going back on Monday. Then he took that as a small problem. And then that problem, he wants to solve it. Then he replied to her saying that I will call you the next day. And he called the lady next day and he packed the whole chair into two bags, small packets, and written a simple slip saying the instructions. You fix this one, this one, this one, this one. As simple as that. Small slip written and then giving that instruction back to her. And she kept that things into her car with the whatever the instruction list. And then she went to Stockholm. He clearly wrote the instructions. It was so clear she was able to fix it. That simple solution for that problem has changed the whole fate of IKEA. So then he started getting the orders from the other parts of the Sweden. That's when he started building the company. Now you know it is a one multi-billion-dollar company present across the globe. Did he made a rocket? No, he solved a small one, and the quotation of IKEA is do it yourself, DIY. So such a small change in the product. Furnitures was there so many in the past, but even then this small idea has made a huge change. Now they are providing 200 or 300,000 jobs across the globe. And in India also they started in Hyderabad. Soon they are coming to Chennai and other parts of the globe. So currently they have right from US till the China, they have the stores, all the places. And all this was possible to solve only one problem. Of course, he just did not stop by solving that problem. After that, with the technology, with the supply chain management and all, he keep using them. That's how the solution has given so many lives and so many decades of runway. And this is about the one story from Sweden. And the other one, philip philip Tissander. This guy is 35 years, and he built a company called Daniel Wellington. Before talking about his company, I'd like to talk about bit about him. He's a 35 years young person, one of the reputed entrepreneurs in Sweden. He did his Stockholm School of Economics education. Then he started the venture. And here, what I want to mention is keep trying, never be afraid of a failure. So this guy started one venture and he failed it, and he started the another one, he failed it. Like that, he started six ventures before he started the Daniel Wellington. Daniel Wellington is a watch company. Now it is competing with overall Switzerland industry. Swiss watch industry is very big. So what did he do differently than others? He also did a small innovations, and small he solved a small problem. When he was traveling to different parts of the Europe or US, he met one guy where he saw one very good watch, but it was damn costly. Then he wanted to solve the problem of availability of very good model watches at an affordable price. By then, the watch industry is very matured. Everybody might think because of Titan or XYZ and all, right? Even if we need to start today, we think it is a capital intense industry. But he solved the problem of capital also. And he was never afraid of trying the things until it is successful. So what he did, he knows different parts of globe has different strengths, and he is from Sweden. He knows the design capability. So he started with a few engineers in Sweden to have a nice design of the watch that they made it. After that, the next thing is manufacturing the watch. It is a very costly affair if he has to start the industries of production itself. So what he did, there are the things available. So he gone through the supply chain management, and he made the arrangements with the all the factories across the globe. And even today, he's a billionaire, and the revenue is more than 2 billion Swedish crowns. They don't own a single factory. So he used the system of supply chain management to create the product at a lesser cost. In addition to that one, any of these watch industries, right, the challenge is sales and marketing. So he was not stopped because of that. He wants to solve that problem of sales and marketing. He didn't had the money at the age of 30. He started, I think he started in 2011 with the first watch. By 2014, it was 1 million watches he sold it. And he did this one by himself. He created the marketing. So the only change that he made it, right, as we all know, Facebook, Twitter and all, they use our data and they make the fortune out of it. This guy want to solve that one. These guys use the social media to create their marketing. So what he did, when he made a few of the good watches, he went to the celebrities and asked them to wear and show in the Facebook and so on. As soon as they put it, he invested the money in such a way. There used to be 10,000, 20,000 likes within a day. That created a curiosity in all the people. That's when started the people getting the buying the watches and so on. So that's how Philip has solved the problems of capital, and also he never afraid of the failure. Believe me, failure is the first step of success. Even though I mentioned Siri AB, we have more than 50 million SEK of top line and 5 offices. I have seen many times up and down. There were the literally 2 times there was the time where I touched zero also. So here I want to say, keep trying. Don't be afraid of the failure. And this small solution of the capital and solution of marketing now has generating couple of hundreds of jobs in Sweden across the globe. Now you can go and Google it about Daniel Wellington. There are many products like this, and all these things are achieved because the people are thinking for the long term. Of course, we cannot expect every person will be thinking long term, but every person should try to do that one. And the next example I want to take it is Volvo. This is another example where you might have seen the Volvo trucks or Volvo buses and all, right? So the quality is redefined. We used to travel the buses. I was working at Bangalore, and my hometown was Nellore and all. It was used to be lot horrible to travel. These guys, the innovation they made it is in terms of the quality. So Volvo is one of the safest vehicle when they came in with the quality of luxury. So that created more interest across the globe. Such kind of a product has been built, and there are n number of examples which you can see. Even the seat belts, right? What you see in every car, it is invented in Sweden, and even the Bluetooth technology has been invented. All these things they are able to do it because of long term thing and one simple thing: what problem I am solving. Even we have the few Swedish guys who are working with Siri AB. I keep observing them, and when they do 2 or 3 things repetition, right, they always ask the question, do we need to do it, or what can I solve to do that one? That's why even though we have a very good product like Skype, they invented another product called whereby.com. You can go and Google it. So that is a video conferencing, much more simple. It has no firewalls, XYZ, and so on. Such kind of a product, right, has been giving the benefits for all the Swedish guys. And the result of that one is the beautiful. What you are seeing is the Stockholm, one of the city, Stockholm. And if you see the top 10 happiest people on the globe for the last 10 years, Sweden always comes in top 10. All these things are small, small changes that has created such a kind of ecosystem or the environment. Okay. So having said that, the all the good parts of the Sweden and all, I have been seeing there is a lot of change even in India. I'm so proud that the journey has started. Why I think the journey has started, I want to give a few points. You know, Indian engineers are good. I don't need to explain, right? From Vishwesharaya to C.V. Raman and all the people. So the whole world knows that Indian engineers are pretty good engineers. So now that was the few decades before, and last 1 decade we also proved that we are good at management and running a products and services companies. And here is the example. Or Sundar Pichaya, he came from Chennai, and whole his father's salary, 1 year salary used to be the flight ticket. Now he is running the best company, one of the best companies in the world. Likewise, Satya Nadella, Ajay, Shantanu. There are n number of Indian origin CEOs who are running the very big companies. So we know that we are very good engineers. Now these guys already proved that we are very good management guys. And we didn't stop there. And here is the next one. These are the guys who showed the path. I think probably you know the Joho Sridhar Vembu. He is from Chennai and he's doing tremendous job of building the cloud-based products. And currently he is providing uh, 10,000 jobs. And when I recently heard his podcast, and there was a question asked him, Sridhar, what did motivated you to start the Joho? It was named some other company. The only reason he explained is he was a telecom guy like me. He was working at Qualcomm US, and when he went for the shopping, he found all the articles made in US, made in Japan, and other parts. By then, China was not there. So then he thought, why not made in India? Instead of complaining something, he wants to do something. That's when he started building the products in software. Why he has chosen software at the time? Even Infosys was a small one, and software was a less capital intensive market. Today, because of that long term vision of creating something, is providing 10,000 jobs. And one more wonderful thing, he started the jobs in second towns. So he's not only creating the jobs, he's thinking about the quality of life also. Tenkasi is the other place where you all guys might know. He's employed, I think, a couple of hundreds of people there. This is on the product side. And you know Ritesh Agrawal, he's also a young kid. So he started redefining the services segment. He don't own a single hotel, but he is one of the richest persons when it comes for the hotel business. He didn't stop there. Now, there recently I heard some of the videos of Ritesh. So he took this business to, I think, to UK and China. And China also, he learned the language in 9 months, and he was one of the profitable companies and who has created more jobs in China too. So with this information, we started as engineers, we done as a management guys, we are going into the entrepreneurship mode in solving the problems. But then, as I explained, the world is running at a faster pace and it is a global village. So what we need to do, we need to add more fuel, and the answer is, that is you guys. I'm pretty confident you guys will make India 2.0 vision quicker and reality. With this, I want to say thank you to sharing my learnings. And as I mentioned, the intention is to take the best parts of different parts of the world and build it. So thank you all. Now I let the team to go through the Q&A. Thanks, Nancy, Elizabeth, and Raji. I'm done with my presentation.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a really wonderful session, and we convey a heartful thanks to you for sharing your valuable knowledge with us and whatever your life experiences. And so we have got few questions from our participants,
Yeah.
and I'll ask you the questions. Um, First question is like, I have a question: how to know what we are best at? Now we are speaking about the revolution of achievers. What is the difference I have to know about me?
About me. Yeah. So first you need to identify your strengths and look for the long term. How to identify your strengths? I have a simple tip for that. If you are doing a stressed work for a couple of days also, if you are not tired and you feel more motivated, that is your strength. And always look for what problem are you solving, what long term the next generation that you are giving. So I hope I answered your question. I don't know. I
Yes,
have
sir.
no.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
please.
Uh,
I have my team, just Elizabeth. I have my team, Kiran and Aditya.
yes,
So
sir.
I might not be knowing all the questions, but my team will pitch in when there is a need.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
The next question is from a participant: how to find the right and wrong things in our way? In our way.
Yeah. So first thing is, you take what opportunity you get it, you excel in that, and if you are doing that one, then plan for the other things. So whatever the work that you are doing, it always you need to do it with excellence, and keep working and keep trying the new things. So it depends. One thing you need to identify is what is the most happiness are you getting, and then how, what problem are you solving. These two questions you need. For example, some kind of people enjoy the repetitive task. Then they need to identify what kind of a job that will help them. And every day you need to ask the one question by end of the day: what did I learn it? And did I enjoy the work that I have done today? And then move to the next one. And keep keep learning on your own. And also one thing that worked for me, I keep hearing about the learnings of the others, so that I don't need to reinvent the wheel. So that's what worked for me. But for you, you need to see where your interest is.
Yeah. Can I also pitch in and answer? Hi, hello, friends. This is Kiran. I'm colleague of Sudhir. We work together. Um,
Go ahead.
so I also want to complement the answer that Sudhir has given. In our view, it's not about right or wrong. It's about, are you on the target or are you not on the target? I mean, as a society, right and wrong, we don't hurt others and etc. So I'm not going into that aspect. About your work culture, about your work thing, as long as you are focused towards your end objective, then that is right. If you are failing, then there is something that you need to learn, and then you need to do it again right. So instead of looking at right and wrong, as Sudhir said, focus only on learning. So it is repeatedly said that this particular century would be all about learning, unlearning, and relearning. As long as you could do that again and again, learn something, then you'll realize that this particular learning is not right. Then you need to unlearn and learn it in a different way. And then you'll realize that what you have unlearned probably is right. Then you'll have to learn that again. As long as you could keep this cycle going, then you're right.
Thank you, Kiran sir. That was very positive. And the next question is like, is engineering a good career for the future? From a participant.
Yeah. Every discipline is a good career. Definitely engineering. We have seen all the miracles of engineering, and there are much more problems that needs to be solved in future. So definitely engineering is a good career. In whichever the field that you do your best.
Okay, sir. The next question is, why always a negative thought makes us disturb our work?
Maybe
It's,
I let Kiran to answer this one.
yeah, it is a human brain, probably the way the wiring happen inside our brain. Uh, it is that, I mean, we evolved over several uh, decades, several centuries, and so that as part of the human evolution, right from the mini microism to the human beings, it's all about correcting something, and then the survival of the fittest. So we get alarmed with something going wrong. Probably that's how the brains are made. Um, you don't have to worry every time the brain gives you an alert saying that there is something wrong, as long as you stick to the learning, relearning, and unlearning, or learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Thank you, sir. And the next question is, How do I determine my startup cost and other expenses?
Yeah, for this question, recently I was having a discussion of Sridhar Vembu also. Start with small and you will figure it out on your way. When we started Siri also, I didn't know how much cost that it takes and all. I find the way on the way. I mean, you find the solution on the way. So when you have an idea, there are multiple things multiple people uh, does. If you are confident and one thing for any startup or any company to be successful is financial discipline and cash flow management. Mostly you guys might not understand the cash flow management word, but later on once you understand that, you are ready for that. But when it comes for the budget and all, I think start with small and keep looking. And then if you still believe that it is more than your range, that you can't afford the stress, then join with the people who has that capability and form it as a team. That's what will help you to achieve your startup things. So startup cost uh, will be defined like that is my view.
Thank you, sir. That was a nice reply. And the next question is, what kind of person makes a successful entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think this one I want to cover the next point of my slides. The key takeaways: solution mindset, persistent, fail fast approach, and think big. These are the common qualities, whether as an entrepreneur, as an engineer, and everything that helps. So keep trying. Don't be afraid of failure. And there is a saying that I learned in Sweden recently. I was mentioning Sweden too many times. Sorry, I got spoiled by that. So keep trying, but don't be foolish. You need to keep trying, and then you see when it is a dead end, then you move on to the new one. So one thing for sure is required in the entrepreneurship is hard work, and be prepared that you will touch the ground once again in the life. So the simple example, when we started the Siri AB, I was working at Ericsson and I was offered a very good job. And in fact, to retain me, my wife also got a job, but I didn't take in when we decided Siri AB. So I worked for 5 years. I spent all the time, and I find my own way of building the money and so on by giving the services. I was the first engineer from Siri who was working at Ericsson. And after working 5 years, then I realized I cannot do both the justification for both the jobs. Then I came out into Siri completely business. I worked for 1 year, and then suddenly there was a customer who went for bankruptcy. All of a sudden, whatever I earned 8 years, that became a zero overnight. But then I had a two choice: either I need to go back to the job, or I keep going with the idea which I believe and building from there. I have chosen the right path. Right means I'm just explaining from the right hand side. So keep trying, and hard work and forming a good team are the few things which will help you as an entrepreneur, is my experiences.
Thank you, sir. And the next question is, do you have any small business ideas with small initial amount?
Okay, so yeah, we started building the products division at Siri AP. If you have the ideas, I think you can approach us. But one thing is, uh, if you have the idea, try it on your own, and you will find the solution even for the finance. I think one of the main reason asking this question is their existence or the day-to-day life. I think entrepreneurs are the one not only building the things, and also they find the problems, they find the solutions for the problems, including finance. Okay.
Yes, sir, that was
Kiran,
great.
would you like to add anything on that?
Yeah, maybe it's like uh, if you are looking for problems to solve, I'm sure there are plenty. There are plenty of problems. There are $1 million problems that require solution. I mean, we are now in a pandemic situation, which was not seen in the past. So many solutions are needed now. How do we solve social distancing in a public commute? If social distancing becomes the normal, then the roads get choked with private vehicles. What can we do to undo that? I'm just thinking in the real time now, in the flow. So there are so many problems that we just have to open our eyes and see it as a thing on how do we make our life easy. As long as you go with that philosophy of making life easy, you'll find so many problems to solve. Each one of them is $1 million problem.
Thank you, sir. And one last question. Uh, how do I determine whether I'm capable of starting a business?
Yeah, just start it and be prepared for the storms that will be coming in.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sudhir sir. And special thanks to Kiran sir and Aditya sir for their special appearance. That was so lively and awesome.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
great,
nice.
sir. That was
And
great. Is
yeah,
there anything else you would like to share with us, sir?
no, these are the key takeaways that I want to reiterate once again before closing. Thanks a lot, and I am confident uh, we will see the India 2.0 shortly, and hopefully we'll meet some of your guys across in the Europe or in India. Okay, so that's all from me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we
Kiran?
thank all the participants for joining us today. Hope you'd have enjoyed the session well, and most of the questions have been answered by our speaker and his friends. I would like to thank Dr. Raji Pandurangan, Assistant Professor, EC Department, for coordinating today's webinar. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
guys. Have a nice day.
Yeah, so Sudhir, your
Yeah.
presentation has proved that necessity is mother of invention. So this creates innovative ideas in our mind. Thank you. Thank you, Aditya and Kiran.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to share my screen, sir. I'll stop this. I'd like to announce our upcoming webinar. This is on data analytics post-COVID-19 by Dr. A. Tangaraja, MBA, PGDMM, PG, PBABI, PhD, Assistant Professor, Vellore Institute of Technology, Chennai, on 15th July, that is tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I request all faculties and students to attend the webinar and get benefited. Meet you all in the next webinar series, and I would now request uh, the participants to fill the feedback link with correct mail ID. Link for the feedback form will be posted in chat box and in our YouTube live streaming page. Please fill the form and receive your e-certificates through mail. Participants, kindly complete filling feedback form within 10 minutes after session gets over. And we would like to inform that the feedback link will not be shared through WhatsApp or mail. So please fill the feedback form within 10 minutes after the session gets over. Thank you all for your participation. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.